President Trump will be a part of each of the 4 nights of this week's Republican National Convention. Good morning to SMU political science professor Dr. Matt Wilson joining us on the phone. The Republican Party clearly making a statement by having actual human beings in the audience as opposed to the Democrats' entirely virtual convention.
Yes, that's right. And that's been a contrast that President Trump has wanted to draw all along, that he wants to convey the sense that he is not cowed or intimidated by COVID-19, by the pandemic, that he is responding in a more natural way, as opposed to, as he keeps talking about, Joe Biden hunkered down in his basement. And that will be a visible contrast between the two conventions.
Republicans clearly on board. Some surveys show 95% support for the president. So who is the persuadable audience that Republicans and Democrats last week are trying to reach?
Well, there are really two objectives. So one thing is to persuade the base to turn out, to get them energized, to get them motivated, to really drive them to the polls. And there'll be some things at the convention that are calculated to do that. But President Trump cannot get reelected with simply committed Republican loyalist votes. He's going to have to win back some of the independents, some of the centrists that have been trending away from him. And so that's really the audience, people who may be uncomfortable with President Trump's style, with his demeanor, may not be pleased with the way that he has handled the coronavirus, but who, on the other hand, liked his economic track record before the pandemic hit, who liked certain of his policy proposals. That's that thin segment in the middle that is potentially persuadable and that both parties will be battling over.
Probably Joe Biden's greatest strength is that he's not Hillary Clinton. She was just not very likable 4 years ago. Some people, however, are calling Joe Biden a Trojan horse candidate covering for the far left.
Right. That will be a theme, I think, that Republicans will sound at this convention. I think we'll hear a lot about how the Democrats are pretending to be reasonable and centrist, but that hides a far-left agenda. They'll point to Kamala Harris having been named the most liberal member of the U.S. Senate. They'll point to people like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, both of whom are enthusiastically backing the Democratic ticket. The Republican message will be that a vote for Democrats is a vote to empower the far left. It is a vote for socialism, for Antifa. Now, of course, Democrats would reject that characterization, but it is going to be a major theme of the Republican convention to try to highlight how radical the Democratic Party has become.
Yeah, for Democrats, it seems like the week boiled down to character, competence, compassion, and COVID. Is there some buzzword that you think we're going to hear quickly as we wrap this up quickly out of Republicans this week?
I think their buzzword will be radicalism, and I think that Trump will try to highlight how he can restore America to the prosperity that the country had just 6 short months ago. Seems like it's a lifetime, but it's only 6 months ago that economically things were riding high.
Yep, things were great not that long ago, and hopefully will be in the future.